Alright, YouTube, here I am again with another bad production. I know a lot of you watching this probably wish I knew how to edit and stuff like that, because I just talk about a bunch of bullshit and things like that. Guess the only thing that I could say in my defense is, most of my stuff you don't see very often, at least at the time that I am posting these things. So I guess that's the only good nugget, is sometimes you can see some things either put together or single items that you just don't see very often anywhere. So here is my axe and hatchet collection. Woohoo! Okay, so let's take a look at what we have here on the right. So right here we have a Swedish Army axe. This is made from, and don't say that I'm pronouncing everything right, but I got Kolefors Bruk, which is from Sweden. So this is made in 1942. It's got the 3 crowns on there. Let's take a look at this thing. So this thing measures down to 27 inches long. Right next to it, I also have a smaller Swedish Army axe from the same maker, Kolefors Bruk. It's a KB 45. Let's take a look at that length. So if you look here, this thing's about 21 3/4 inches. So what I've seen online, these things can range from 19 to about 22 inches long on this kind of like smaller or medium axe size. When we're taking a look at this one's about a 2.5 pound head on the right. This one is going to be closer to like 1.25 pounds. Now I don't have a Gransfors Bruk's small forest axe, but this, in the weight and approximate size, is about the same size as that. One thing that you'll see though is kind of interesting. If you take a look at the face on the blade for the larger one, it's at 4 inches, and we have 4 inches again even on this smaller one. Typically, like a small forest axe will probably have about a 3-inch, maybe 3.5-inch cutting blade on there. What's cool about that is, these covers that they made for these go and will fit this because they're the same size. One thing on here too is this has a hole drilled in there, plus you have an eyelet. So now I don't know exactly why, but my guess is this eyelet is so that you can fasten this cover that they give you, the little mask that they do, and fasten it there. My other guess is, I think that this hole is so that you can mount this on a vehicle or something like that, put it on a bolt or something like that. I don't think it's, it's like when they drill holes in military stuff just to show that it's not in service anymore. I don't think that that's what's going on there, but I don't really know. That's my guess. Okay, so don't flame me on that bullshit. Now I've got some commercial ones. So I've got the Ray Mears Bushcraft made by Gransfors Bruk. It's a Wilderness Axe. So let's take a look at the length on that. So if you see here, we're at about 24 inches length. Now that blade is only at 3.5 inches on the face of that, you know, which is half an inch shorter than this or this. Now the reason that I bought this one is I want something a little bit heavier. If we take a look at this, take a look. This is kind of like a universal. It's kind of thicker, so you can do splitting versus like the small or the Scandinavian forest axes. You know, it's kind of right in between as far as the length goes. 24 inches. I got it directly from Ray Mears' website. At the same time, I bought their bow saw, which is inside of there, plus this carrier. It's a waxed canvas carrier, which will hold the axe, plus the saw inside of there. I mean, I really wanted that carrier, so I ended up buying the bow saw with it. It was kind of expensive just for that piece by itself, but you know, hey, it's quality stuff, and maybe I did pay more. And interestingly though, if you buy directly from the UK or Germany or some other place that sells these Gransfors Bruks axes, you get it for cheaper because the distributor here in the US marks these things up crazy. Now, they don't even sell this one, at least when I was buying this. Maybe they do now, but most of the stuff that they carry, you know. So let's take a look at this guy. So this is the Wilderness Axe, which is actually a hatchet, right? Anyway, so this retails for $175. Same with the mini hatchet, is around $175 from this distributor. This guy I bought on eBay from Germany for $99 because he's not marking it up like the sole distributor in the US. And oh my god, I speak English, or excuse me, German, so this came with the German axe book, and the same with this one. So now that one, actually I got this directly from Ray Mears, and I think that was about $90 to $110, so, and shipped. So I was still saving so much money just buying it directly from Ray Mears. And that's where this actually, I guess, who is it, Lars Fault, who works with Ray Mears, designed this for Gransfors Bruk, and so they sold on Ray Mears. So, you know, I was saving, you know, $60 to $80 just buying it directly from Ray Mears versus the distributor here in the US. You know, what's kind of nice about this, I mean, this is shorter, you know, obviously it's a hatchet. It's still pretty thick here, so this works great for splitting and things like that. Let's take a look at that blade. That blade is only, what, 2.5 inches. Let's take a look at the little mini. So the mini on that is 2 3/8 or 2 1/4. So the blade on that is about the same. This thing weighs around 10 ounces, and I believe this was 14. You know, I really like this. This is kind of nice because it's so small. I could put it in my chest rig, excuse me, my chest rig, which only has about 10-11 inches width in there, and so I can carry this inside there without people looking at it. I mean, I live near Seattle, so sometimes when people see you with this shit, they go crazy, you know. But I mean, these are tools. I'm not going to use these on people, you know, unless I had to, which I really don't think I'd ever have to, right? Okay, anyway, Let's take a look. So I've got two Gransfors heads here. So this one is interesting. This is 4 pounds. So this is massive. Okay, so take a look at this thing. I mean, the eye on this thing is big. I mean, it's about 2.5 inches there by 2 inches here. Let's go for the cutting surface. This thing is at 5 inches right there on that edge. This thing's a massive, 9 inches wide on there. I mean, and you can see that this is made for the South American, because it says well, I can't even say this, I don't speak Spanish, but anyway, was that Hatchets superiores? Anyway, when I was reading the Axe book, it's one of those books out there, I remember the author talking about how in South America they like really heavy axes and things like that. So right above that is a 3-pound Gransfors axe, and so this has your typical axe eye in there versus the tomahawk. I've also had this one in a 4-pound one. That's a 3-pound one. And let's take a look at that cutting edge. I mean, this thing is massive. And then obviously this one's 5 3/4 on that cutting edge. I've also had the 4-pound one version of this, and it was 6 inches on that cutting edge. Now these things were made somewhere in the 60s, I think, up until the the end of the 70s, and around 1980. And 1980 is still the 70s, because even though it says 80, it's the 70s, right? Anyway, so they're not quite razor sharp, but these things are old, so maybe that's why they're sharper now. I just think when they were making these, they didn't put as much attention to details as they do with the more modern ones, because when they started making these guys here, they were just trying to make a name for quality and style and things like that. But that doesn't mean that these things are not excellent. Obviously, I haven't used these because I don't have halves for these, or a tomahawk handle for that. But just looking at them, I mean, these things seem like they're made very, very well. I know, and I cannot find a tomahawk handle for this. I can't find something this massive to do it. And I even bought a pickaxe handle, which is too large. I may end up using that so that and whittle it down so that I can use this, because this thing's so massive. I want to have about 31 to 36 inches on something so heavy. I mean, you don't necessarily have to, but I mean, at that weight, I probably want to get something longer. Same thing goes with these. Now, how do I get this stuff? I've got a contact in Sweden. Some of these I bought, in the UK or Germany. Things like that. So when you're trying to find things, just take a look around. I mean, you can find stuff like this just about anywhere, and you can probably save some money. I mean, I like to support businesses and stuff like that, but I mean, if some business is selling this hatchet / axe for $70 more than what I can get somewhere else, I mean, I'm not that engaged in trying to keep that person in business. You know what I mean? I mean, you know, if it costs me, you know, maybe $30 more, and they're here in the US where I can just pick it right now, that's worth it for me. But you know what? For 70 bucks, I'll wait an extra 1 to 2 weeks to get something shipped to me, right? Okay, if you guys have some questions, just post it on there and I'll try to answer as soon as I can. You know, thanks a lot for watching, and you guys have a great day out there. Bye.